So everybody always asks about these tomato trellises. This is the way we would trellis tomatoes in the 19th century. These come up, they tie them together, and then they will fold flat for the winter. But you need to support your tomatoes in some way or another. We don't have quite as many of these as we want to this year, so we have some of them in these cradles. And then over here, some of them that are staked. So the tomatoes need support because these old German tomatoes are gonna put on great, big, meaty, heavy tomatoes. So they're gonna need some support. We get a lot of questions about this plant right here. It's so pretty, you can use it in some of the backgrounds of even some of your flower gardens, but this is horseradish. Now we're not gonna harvest it right now because this is something you harvest in the cooler months. They always say you harvest it in a month with an R in it, so we have to wait until at least September. But you will pull it up and you'll grind the root, and that's where you get your horseradish. All right, here's a quick little update on our cucumbers. This one is starting to head on its way out, and the dill that I showed last week is starting to get big. The dill is gonna get probably about this tall with these very beautiful flowers. So that's gonna help attract not only predatory insects, but it's also the host plant for the swallowtail butterfly. Here's another week's growth on our squash. A month or 5 weeks and we'll have some more beautiful yellow crookneck summer squash. Right, so last week we looked at these Kentucky Wonder pole beans and they were just getting started working their way up the fence. But this time of year, they really need a lot of attention. They'll come out like this and they'll send out all these little tendrils and they need some help. So along the stem portion here, there's these tiny little almost hair-like structures that are sticky, and they're going to be your friend when you're doing the trellising. So the tendrils will start to curl like this, and you just need to stick them around and help them just a little bit. And that one is on his way vertical again. All right, so this time of year can be kind of frustrating to new gardeners because everything is starting to come up and so are the weeds, but there's nothing fun to harvest yet. So I want to talk a little bit about weeding, how to do it well, and make sure you don't hurt yourself while you're doing it. I like to use a hoe, and this is my particular favorite because it's so long. You want a nice long hoe so that you can reach out here and you can keep yourself vertical. I can reach all the way over here or all the way over here, and I don't have to bend. Now there's a couple different types of hoes. This particular one has a swan neck on it and a very, very sharp blade. That sharp blade is going to help you do more of the work with the blade, not your arms. This one is used to get really close in there and just shave the top of the ground a little bit. So just knocking the top off and keeping those pole beans going well. Now a different type of hoe, this one, it doesn't have nearly that kind of shape and it's got a more blunt end here. This is going to be really good if you've got areas like my peppers were this morning that were kind of full of weeds. You can get in there and really work up the dirt and cultivate more deeply. It just depends on what kind of weeding you need to do. And if you really need to get in there close, if you're too afraid to do it from a standing position, a seat like this will help you get right down here and get these tiny weeds that are right next to the plant and help save your back and keep you in the garden longer.